So 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon. This is from his 1975 album, Still Crazy After All These Years. And this was actually his only number one hit of his solo career. And there's a reason for that, because this is such a fantastic and unique song. And part of the reason for that is, of course, Paul Simon is a great songwriter, but it's also the musicians he had on this track, including the drummer Steve Gadd, who came up with this now legendary drum part for the verses, which is the signature sound of the song. And then, Paul Simon plays the acoustic guitar part, but Hugh McCracken and John Tropea play the two electric parts. And those two parts combined with the acoustic part are just so beautifully done. Keith Richards calls it the weave, right? The guitar parts with him and Ron Wood and stuff. But this also is like a perfect weaved, layered guitar orchestrated section, the verses. It's just beautifully done. The main guitar is playing those chords, the acoustic, and then the two electric are playing the same chords but different voicings, over the neck, which just gives you this great sound. And I'll go over all of those in detail in this lesson. But we're going to start with the acoustic guitar. So we're standard tuned and we're in the key of E minor. But the first chord is not an E minor, it's a first inversion E minor, which is E minor with G in the bass. So that's how I play it. And this is how I would suggest you finger it, because it'll make going to the next chord really easy. So we've got third finger on E3, second finger on D2, muting the A string, playing all 6 strings. Now next chord is this D6, and I would also finger it like this if I were you, because it's just easier. It's G2 with the second finger and E2 with the third finger. I'm playing from the D string down. It's a D6. So we've got E minor over G, D6. Now we go to, so nice, C major 7, just like a C with your first finger off. And then we've got this chord, and we pull that off that B string. So that, with the B string on the first fret, and A2, G2, muted D string, is a B7 flat 9. And we're going to pull that off so we just have a B7. Both of those are minus the third. There's no third in these. Okay, and now the next cycle through, we're going to go just E minor. And instead of D6, we're going to go, this is a D sharp diminished. And then you'll see a lot of guys will just slide that out 4 frets for the next chord, but that is not what I'm hearing, and that's not what I'm seeing Paul Simon play in the live videos. What I'm hearing is that on the acoustic guitar. So that's, you could call this chord a lot of different names. I'm going to call it a B7 sharp 5 over F sharp. All right, so that's just D4, open G, open B, and E5. And I would finger it like that with your first finger and your little finger. And then we're gonna go here to a B augmented, which is just A2, D1, open G, open B. And an augmented chord is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when you take the fifth and raise it. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, and a raised fifth, B augmented. All right, and then the last cycle is back to E minor, D6, C major 7, that pull off, and then E minor, A minor 7. And that's the complete verse cycle. So let's play the whole thing. just beautiful, you know, just love those chords. So that's basically it. And then in the chorus, on the live videos, you'll see Paul Simon just... just vamping G, B flat, a C7 or a C, you know, just those three chords. But on the album, what I'm hearing is this. So it's like, but you keep this hand going and you're just, you know, muting the strings and pressing down on those two fingers when you want that note. And then that just ends there. And we're back to the verse. That's it for the acoustic part. All right, so now we're ready to do the electric parts, and I'll start with John Tropea's part. And he does sort of more lead type stuff. And that's going to start out with these single notes. And we're just going to play the G, the A, the B, the C, back to the B, back to the A, G. And I have a tab for this, so, you know, if you want to learn these parts, you'd probably be better off getting the tab. Now we're going to repeat that, but we're going to add the B string. We're going to play these thirds. Starting there, that's B5 and G3, up 2 frets, and then here, B8 and E7, and here. But I'm going to do that like that. Right, little finger on E8 and first finger on B7. It's less movement and it's just less string noise. So back to here, slide down there and end it with that open chord. All right, now the singing comes in and we're going to repeat that. Doing it easy if you... And we're going to slide down to that, which is the 4th fret of the B and the 3rd of the E. Magically, tremble to be free. There must be 50 ways to leave a lover. All right, now that's going to change, and we're going to start playing these sixths on the D and B string. We're going to start on the 5th fret. I'm going to come down to here, which is the 3rd fret of the B and the 4th fret of the D. So that's open B, D2, and then, and that's that 3rd, you know. When I showed you that chord on the acoustic, he's doing the 3rd there. So he's going. And he's pulling off there. Back to here. Now, up to here, which is B4 and D4, and then open B, D4, sliding down to D1. And then we're going to start here. And then to end it, we're going to play this harmonic. Open E string. B string, G string, E string, B string, ending on the 5th fret on the G. And now he's going to do these fills. Like that. And again, the tab is best to get for this because I can't show you every note. And he's just jamming these fills. So what I did in my demo is I just took the fills I liked the best. So I'll just play what I did in my demo. And I'm generally using my fingers a lot to this, just to get more of a, you know, the pick is good, but you can get a bit more snap when you're pulling that string. So it just starts like this. And then right? So for the, I use a pick for that. And that's a cool lick because we're going from the major 6 to the minor 3rd, which is actually like a tritone. Then that, right? So, we've got that minor 7th and the 3rd going between minor and major. And then, and that lick is so good. So we're pulling off here from the 10th fret of the E down to the 6th. That's my favorite lick of the leads. And this is just, he's just vamping and jamming whatever. Like, I would guarantee you every take was different when he did that soloing. But that'll give you an idea, and that was sort of my take on it as well, right? I took my favorite licks of his and added a couple of my own and just tried to get inside of the groove of it. Now let's go to the other part, which is Hugh McCracken, and he's going to start the song like this. Just on the B string, B12. And right, just these tasty little fills, and I guarantee he didn't write these. He was just playing, improvising this, and then does that again. And now he starts his part, and this is really a cool part. So he's gonna play that E minor over G right here, and I find it best with these fingers. 3rd finger there, D5, little finger B5, and 2nd finger on the 4th of the G. And he's going to bounce everything off that G string. So he's going to, again, this is hybrid picked. So hybrid pick and then pick on the G string. Now he's going to slide up to here, which is a bit of a stretch, but you've got your 1st finger on the B note there on G3. And you're up on the 5th fret of the D and B. So we've got now to E minor, and then here, and those are both hybrid picked. Again, the tab would be the best way, to really get this if you want it note for note. So now he's going to go down. D5, G4, B7. And take your little finger off while we're barring. Okay, and then we repeat it. So we end it like this. Now he's going to change completely, and he's going to do 6th, just like John Tropea's doing, but with different voicings, but they start on the same one. So he's going to go. Right? And, combined with the acoustic and John Tropea's part, it just sounds so awesome because everything is split up, right? Those chords are split up. He does that again. And he ends it like this. Now open E. Now that guitar now comes into this, into the chorus, and it's going to do this. I just love that. It's almost like disco, right? So he's just root, E string, D string. Now this, which is, you're getting that 7th, that minor 7th, and that 3rd, which is really strong. And you're hammering it on. Barring there. And now we move up to the B flat, same thing. C. that lick. And we do that twice. And that is hybrid picking, like a Travis pick thing that he breaks into, right? So we're going to play that bar chord, and the pick is just going between the octaves, right? But the fingers are going. That's just my middle finger on the E and the B string while we get the Travis going. Okay. Now we're going to change to this B flat 6 because we're barring that high E, and do the same picking. And then we're going to go to C7. And we actually never played that G note, so it doesn't even matter, but I just form a C7. That is so cool. And what this really reminds me of, like, I'm going to take a bit of a side route here. That part is really similar to the part he plays on Long-Haired Lady from Ram, which was recorded in 1971, and he played guitar in that part. And in the chorus, Long-Haired Lady is tuned down a full step, and they use A shapes. So when you hear it, it's like it's in G, but he's using A shapes. And his guitar part in that chorus is, ooh, love is long, love is long, love is long. All right, and his guitar part is, right? And his guitar part in this one is, so, you know, it's kind of interesting. I never saw the parallel between those two songs until I learned this song. How he comes out of that then is, he just slides from the B flat to the B, and then the whole thing repeats. Anyways, that's it for this one. Fantastic song, and it really shows you how important the studio musicians were on these huge hit songs, because they add so much, and a lot of the flavor and the little things you remember. Like when I listen to the song, I remember that. You know, that stands out for me, and that lick too. You know, just little things like that by great musicians that have a knack of coming up with just the right thing to play. And a lot of times it's not flashy, but it just fits perfectly and it's memorable. So, testament to all the great studio musicians out there that played on all of these hit songs. All right, I hope you get something out of the lesson. I hope it helps you to play this great song, and we'll talk to you next time.